7. Barrett outside, the switch. Doncic goes over. And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. And today I'm actually going to be talking about the point guard position. It seems like we're literally talking about the point guard position every single offseason. But will this be the offseason? Will this be the free agency? Will this be the draft? Will it happen via trade? Will we finally figure out the point guard position long term for the New York Knicks? Is he someone that's going to help us really hold that Larry O'Brien trophy one day, or come close to winning an NBA championship, or just have an overall great impact when it comes to winning? Will he be fun to watch? Will he put up points? Will he be a floor general? I know the consensus answer is Alonzo Ball when it comes to free agency, like when it comes to long term, but could also help win now. But he's also going to grow and develop as well. He's a young, smart basketball player who has really expanded his offensive arsenal. You take a look at a Kyle Lowry if you want to win now, and then really maybe draft someone and have him learn behind a Kyle Lowry. But I want longevity at the point guard position, and we're actually going to be talking about someone that I think is an intriguing or interesting option, and that is going to be Collin Sexton from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So his name has really been popping up when it comes to these news articles or just articles in general, like being traded. They have a Darius Garland over there. There's a lot of people within the Cavs organization or the players that don't like Collin Sexton. They think he's a selfish player. They may not want to pay him moving forward. He puts up points on a bad basketball team, and maybe they're not a fan of, like, again, paying him, or they don't love the backcourt size of Darius Garland and Sexton. They're like, we experimented it, it does not work. So obviously we would have to trade for a guy like this of Collin Sexton. And let me know down below, would you trade for Collin Sexton? Some people take a look at him as a point guard, some people don't. I actually really liked him coming out of Alabama. When it came to the 2018 NBA draft, he was actually the 8th overall pick. We drafted Kevin Knox with the 9th overall pick out of Kentucky that year. I think the thing I really loved about Collin Sexton is that he played with this relentless, like, I don't care at all mentality of, like, I'm trying to kill you on the court. And what I mean by I don't care, it's like he cares about how he plays the game, but like, I don't care, like, I'm trying to murder you. I'm trying to do whatever it takes to win this game. When there was a, I believe, 3-on-5 game, it was something crazy like that. He plays with so much heart and determination, but his jump shot was definitely a main concern. Not really being a big-time winner at Alabama. Not really being the biggest of distributor of the basketball, only averaging 3 assists per game. But I just loved his heart, the way he took it to the rack. And now you take a look at Collin Sexton, like, what would you have to give up for him? And I'm going to be completely real here. We can come up with these trade scenarios all we want, but they're never realistic, because when a trade goes down, it always shocks us. Like, wow, they only got that in exchange? Oh, wow, that was a steal? So most likely what I'm going to say here is not going to age well, whatever destination he ends up being traded to. But most likely we're going to have to give up a young player and a pick. I'm not sure if it's going to have to be 2 young players. If we have to give up like Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and a first-round pick, let me know down below if you think that's too much. If it's Emmanuel Quickley in a first rounder, Obi Toppin in a first rounder, maybe they really like Obi Toppin. They liked him when it came to the draft process, but they went out there and drafted an Isaac Okoro, so maybe they really fell in love with Isaac Okoro last second, and they really want some offensive pop, and they're like, Darius Garland improved his playmaking. So we would definitely have to give up a draft pick. I'm not sure what kind of draft capital, I'm not sure what young player, but you take a look at Collin Sexton and the positives he brings to the game. Speed, his burst is insane. His ability to get to his spots or really drive to the basket. He does a really good job getting to his spots. He can score off the dribble. He's actually a good 3-point shooter. And a lot of people thought his shot was going to be extremely flat coming out of Alabama. And he's actually been a pretty solid to good shooter of the basketball, above league average. So this is someone you're definitely going to have to respect from downtown. You can't go under screens. But yes, he's pretty athletic. He can get to the cup. He knows how to score the heck out of the basketball. And actually, like, I'm not saying he's a good playmaker. I'm not saying he's a solid playmaker. But I definitely do think he has some room for growth. But he has, like, something he can really build upon. He is someone that actually started to really dish out the ball pretty well when it came towards the end of this campaign. of this season. When Darius Garland went down with an injury, he actually averaged 6 assists per game, which I thought was really impressive for Darius Garland or Colin Sexton, because he only averaged 3 assists per game when it came to his Alabama career. He hasn't really averaged a lot of assists when it's come to his NBA career, but this is someone that has a clutch gene as well. He's not afraid of the big moment at all. This is someone who I want taking the shot at the end of the game. He can create his own shot. He can shoot it from the outside. He's fast. He can blow by you. If the play really gets blown up, he just knows how to create something out of nothing. I absolutely love that about Colin Sexton. Look up the highlights versus the Brooklyn Nets. He absolutely took over that game. This dude is not afraid. So now getting into the weaknesses, the big time weakness of his game is obviously the playmaking. The playmaking definitely has ways to go. Just never being the biggest distributor of the basketball. He's really big time room to growth. People could say he's really a black hole when he looks to attack the basket. He doesn't really notice, yes, he's a good dribble penetrator. He's good at driving to the cup, like I said. But sometimes he has to recognize, I don't have to always shoot it at the hoop if it's not there. Sometimes he's so in love with his speed and quickness, he's like, of course I could finish it here. But sometimes he doesn't recognize he's getting the defense to collapse. He can kick it out. But, for people to say, though, that he puts up a lot of points on a bad team, because that was the next thing I was going to talk about. How he's this player that just scores on. He's a player that just scores the ball and doesn't result in winning basketball. But he hasn't really been surrounded by much. So he might have this pressure of yeah, I need to put this team on my back. So I feel like if he had a Tom Thibodeau as a coach, or Tom Thibodeau, however you want to pronounce it, he works hard. I think he's really willing to learn. I don't think he's really going to be yeah, I don't want to pass the ball. I think when I watch him play out there on the court, this dude wants to win at any cost. And he wants to be coached hard. I kind of get that vibe from him. But who knows? Maybe the Cavs know something we don't at the end of the day. But I really do think he is someone that, if he has the right talent around him, maybe he's okay, I know he's going to knock down a shot. I'm going to make the key play here. But yeah, for sure, the playmaking has ways to go. It could sometimes be this black hole. And now getting to defense, the perimeter defense definitely needs work. I wouldn't say it's absolutely atrocious like some people say, but sometimes you could have lapses on the defense side of the basketball. He is someone, though, that is 6'1", 190. I actually do think that's a good size, and we've seen videos of him, his intensity when he was guarding, I believe it was Jordan Clarkson or no, Josh Hart, when it came to the Summer League, when he was that's why you call him Young Bull. This is someone that's locked in, but sometimes he doesn't have the best of positioning, but he hasn't really had the best of coaching when it's come to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I believe he had Tyronn Lue for a few games, and then he was fired. He had V-Line, and then he has Bickerstaff. He hasn't really had the best of coaching in the world, at least at the NBA level. And I think if you bring in a guy or you trade for Collin Sexton, Thibodeau could really work on that. He always plays with a high level of intensity. I think it's really just the fundamentals and things like that, because I never question his hustle or heart out there on the court at all. But now we have to get into the fit here. That's kind of a weakness. Randall needs the ball in his hands to be successful. RJ does, if you want to see RJ at its best, creating for others, not just having him spot up in the corner, because I feel we're not really fulfilling his potential if you just have him spot up in the corner. But Colin Sexton really needs the ball in his hands to be successful. Obviously, he's the point guard, but if you want your classic distributor of the basketball, that's not Colin Sexton. He's not really going to make everyone around him better. He's not Alonzo Ball, but he's going to score in bunches. This man averaged 20 points per game for his entire life. He could score the heck out of the basketball, but you also need to get others involved. I don't know if you're a big fan of a point guard that grabs the rebound, gets out and runs, and looks to score for himself and not really set others up. But I will say this, he's not even 25 years old. He is young. He can learn about the mental part of the game. There's certain things maybe Kyle Korver, he couldn't get more athletic in his career, so he was I'm good at shooting. I'm going to learn how to come off screens in a smarter way, or quicker, a more efficient way, taking certain cuts to really lose my defender. You could always get better at the mental part of the game, which is what I'm saying here. So who says Colin Sexton can't get better as a playmaker? I might be biased because I love dogs. I love guys that aren't afraid of the big moment. We would find our closer, because I think Sexton can definitely be a closer, but he wants to be great, and you have mentally tough basketball players on this team. RJ Barrett, He wants to be great. He's mentally tough. Julius Randle, maybe he's not clutch at the end of games. He's had his moments, but some people have really labeled him he's not clutch. But he's a true competitor, and Colin Sexton is too. So I feel like when you get competitors in the same room that have the same mindset to win, I think it could definitely work out. But let me know down below, would you pay him like a max one day down the road? I feel like max contracts nowadays, like, there's a lot of players that have maxes, you could say, that really don't deserve them or have a lot of money. Like, they deserve it, like, when it comes to their importance to the team, but maybe not, like, if you're the casual NBA fan looking in. But let me know down below your thoughts and analysis on Colin Sexton. Would you trade for him? And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.